got a pink thing in the middle, which is the nucleus. Let's see what happens with the doors. Well, in carbohydrate metabolism, or how the body uses carbohydrate, it actually breaks it down to glucose. So if you look at the tiny blue spots on the red bar represents the blood, and the blue spots represent the glucose molecule. The yellow things are the doors. The aim of the body is to get the glucose into the cell, so the cell can actually get energy.
And what you need to understand is that this is part of the eating process. It is through the eating process you use for survival, and as you eat, this is what the internal mechanism of your body is doing in order to sustain your life.
Okay, so insulin, which is produced by the pancreas, is absolutely necessary for glucose to be used by the body. This diagram takes it that little bit further. See what insulin is doing, that little green man with a face? He's actually opening the doors, and by opening the doors, he's actually getting the glucose molecule into that black area, posh name, the mitochondria. And in that actual part of the cell, energy is created, life is created. Okay, but what happens? So as I said before, insulin, it opens the doors and pushes the glucose molecule into the cell. But what happens in diabetes? If you look at the diagram, there's something missing. What's missing?
There will always be things missing when you suffer from diabetes, because the body is not working correctly.
The thing that's missing is the door. The yellow door is missing. And the cell is actually saying to the body, saying to the glucose, I don't want any more glucose in here. I am packed full.
That's right. The body will always give you information, and you will find symptoms continuously coming because there's something amiss in your body. As that diagram shows you, there is something missing. The door, which is the entrance to allow the glucose to do what it does, which is give energy, which fuel the body in order for it to function, operate, and maneuver and sustain you.
At this point, most of the glucose, instead of being, in the cell, some of it is actually circulating in the body and raising the blood sugar, and that's when people are usually diagnosed. So how can we make more doors? Well, it's what I said before. Eat more whole grain, eat more whole foods. And it, just reinforcing the points that we said earlier. Drink more water, avoid fruit juices, walk and walk and walk and walk and walk, and reduce your saturated fats. So the best way to manage glucose is to actually remember what you put in your body. I think someone said sometimes we're actually digging our graves with our teeth. That's sometimes the case. So it's very, very important for us to bear in mind what we put in our body, and also to get more exercise so we can create more doors. Now, bear in mind though, when you start doing these things, that things are going to start changing. Therefore, it's important for you to keep in touch with your health professionals, because once you start changing your diet, once you start changing your lifestyle, once you start exercising, that things are going to begin to change, and you're going to start shifting. You're going to start shifting weight, and you're going to start changing your blood glucose levels. So it's important to keep in contact with them. I can't stress that enough. Keep in contact with them so they can review your medication on a regular basis and keep you in control. Now, last time we spoke, I spoke about this book that we actually published called Managing Diabetes, A Whole Food Approach. It's been acclaimed for its value, its worth in, and we're going to meet someone who has used the principles laid out in this book to reduce his intake of insulin very, very shortly. But for those of you who want to make drastic changes to your blood glucose levels, and to have a go at using some recipes that may help you, then this is a book worth buying or worth getting. And you can actually get it from the address and details on the screen. And if you're in the area in Derby anytime, you can always join us for worship at the address given on the screen. Okay.
You are watching Love World TV, and this is Liberty Hour. And we thank you very much for joining us. Wherever you are in the world, welcome and God bless you. This is a program that is designed to give you information to help you to control diabetes and to give you information that will help you to prevent diabetes if you are not a sufferer. This is a program that will change your life and make your world a much better place to live. So thank you very much for tuning in. Also, I would like you to understand that what necessitated this program was my co-host and I, unfortunately, we developed diabetes, and as a result of that, we were fortunate enough to meet some people who gave us relevant information that changed our life, the quality of our life, and to prolongate our life. And we were so fortunate and appreciative that in our generosity to healthy living, we have decided to take this information to the world at large. Myself was a diabetic sufferer, and although they tell you that once you develop diabetes, you will always have it, but there is those who specialize in doing their endeavor to reverse diabetes. Some will say it can never be reversed. One thing is sure, you can have an improved life if you get the relevant information, which is what we got, and it has changed our life. And Liberty Hour is giving you the relevant information that will change your life also. We have some guests with us tonight, and we want to welcome them. We have Prince here with us. Prince, welcome to Liberty Hour at Love World TV.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Chris. You've got a very, very important surname, Egeku.
Egeku, yes.
Oh,
that's a kingly name.
Egeku means somebody that listens.
Oh, somebody that listens.
And you certainly have been listening.
Okay. Welcome, Prince. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Tell us about your story. Tell us about your journey.
Well, my story is long, but very fruitful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My story started sometime in August. I was on holidays to Ireland, Republic of Ireland. I started having dehydration, drinking a lot of water, passing a lot of water. I go to the toilet up to 6 times in the night. So I was losing weight rapidly, and I was losing my vision. I was ignorant of diabetes. I didn't know I was diabetic. I was ignorant until I came back from the holidays. I went to my GP, and I was asked to go to the hospital for blood test. I went to the hospital. After taking the blood test, I came back. I was very weak, tired. I couldn't move. Still, I didn't know that I was diabetic. Then, when I couldn't move, my wife had to rush me to the hospital. When I go to the hospital, accident and emergency, they rushed me in, and I was taken in. Then they discovered I was having, my sugar level was 27.
That's high.
27. That was very high, and the doctors were surprised that I came into the hospital at that stage and nothing happened to me.
As a matter of fact, Prince, mine was twice that level. Mine was 40.1 when I went into hospital, and I was told by the doctor that my body was on the verge of shutting down, and had I left it 24 hours more, I would have been dead. So I'm glad you caught it in time.
But guess what he said the other day? My blood sugar this morning was 3.9.
I tested my blood sugar about 3 days ago, and it had come down from 20.9 when I left the hospital 8 months ago to 3.9, and that's without medication. I've been off medication now for 8 months, total of medication, because I have followed the principles of this book, which Pauline Byers wrote after she was diagnosed with diabetes, and she began to search and found that no one was really giving the relevant information for diabetics, that she began to learn the hard way because she had to find out for herself. And when the things that work for her, she has put them in this book. And as a matter of fact, it was she who gave me the information that allowed me to come off medication 8 months ago. And I thank God for it. And that's why we have come to the world with this information, so that others can be helped also. Prince?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Griffiths. Then, just your experience was exactly what the doctor told me. The doctor told me that I cheated death.
You cheated death?
Yeah, I cheated death.
Yeah.
Then thereabout, I was put on insulin. It couldn't come down until 2 a.m. in the morning. It came down to 15. They gave me double dose. Till in the morning, it came down to 5. I stayed in the hospital for about 2 weeks. When I was discharged, I met one of our church member, who's Evangelist John, who's a nurse. So she told me, look, she has a colleague who wrote a book, and she was diabetic. When she was diabetic, they told her a lot of things, but she went to do research on her own and found out a recipe that took her out of insulin. So she said that she would give me that book. So she presented me this book you're seeing today.
And that is Pauline Byers.
That's Pauline Byers.
So in fact, the path for us to be here today is the same path you walked as I walked.
That's true. That's correct.
Wonderful.
That's correct.
Excellent.
Let me just take you back. I was never on insulin, so that probably was a little bit of misinformation. But I was on tablets. I was on tablets, and I came off the tablets within a week of actually following the principles of whole food, eating whole, and staying away from animal products. And our listeners can actually do it if they try. It is possible.
But I certainly was on tablets and medication. I was on 4 tablets a day and 4 dosage of 58 milliliters per day.
Of insulin?
Of insulin.
So then, what's been your journey since your diagnosis?
So my journey has been, I was trying to take 30 ml of insulin in the morning and 20 in the evening. But after reading this book and following the principles of this book, what this book said, what I did was now I started reducing the insulin from 30 in the morning to 22 in the morning, from 20 in the evening to 12 in the evening, without doctor's advice. I did it on my own, based on what I read from this book.
So the book doesn't actually tell you, though, to reduce your insulin.
No, it didn't tell me that.
It basically tells you to eat different types of food, to raise your vegetables, and to stay away from animal products as much as you can, because some people may have difficulty in doing so, but if you begin to reduce it, it will make a difference. And to exercise.